So I was working on this video at the time, and suddenly we got an unexpected surprise. EX7 revealed a whole new line for both volcanicdramon and metallicdramon, and as a matter of fact, it is currently out in Japan Meta. It will also be released in the English version in September 2024. Initially, I was like, well, I guess I could scrap this video since I usually try to predict what the future support should look like, and I actually decided to ask you guys in the community post, and many of you gave some really cool ideas to talk about these new cards instead, and of course, I'll be covering my thoughts just in a bit. But the whole point of this series is to talk about decks and archetypes that are rarely being played, so we're going to cover what it's like before the new support first, as I welcome you back to another episode of Why Nobody Plays, featuring Dragon LINKZ. If you guys want to vote for future episodes just like this one, be sure to subscribe and keep a lookout on the community tab. This series is intended to critically analyze decks and archetypes that have a low play rate and win rate, including some of the ones that wants to be considered the best decks during its prime. We'll take a look at what the cards do, its history, talk about the issues, and how it struggles to establish its win condition and identity in today's format. And like always, I'll be giving some of my personal opinions and suggestions on how to improve it as well. First, let's take a trip all the way back in EX3 Dragonic Roar. This is the set that debuted the Dragon LINKZ deck and is able to be played as one whole archetype. It includes two Digimon lines in color, volcanicdramon which is red, and metallicdramon which is black. Red focuses on deletion effects, black provides utility support with the red removal with de-digivolving and DP buffs, and this emphasizes a whole control playstyle. All cards are capable of digivolving between both colors as you climb up. The level 4s help you search for pieces including Hina, which is the main tamer. Level 5s provide removal and let you play Hina for free. Level 6s further amplifies all these removal effects and helps you establish the pressures to win. The one thing though is that all these Digimon effects are actually on-play effects rather than when digivolving, which could be confusing to some players on how it's supposed to work. But this is exactly where Hina comes in, because the card enables you to activate any of your on-play effects as you digivolve up your dragons. It also gives you extra memory at the start of your turn as long as your opponent has a Digimon on board, which pretty makes it a vital core engine piece of the entire archetype for it to run. By combining all the cards and effects together, the main goal is to find Hina and play it out as soon as possible. This is to turn on the when digivolving strategies alongside with the hard playing strategies of your Digimon that are level 5 or below. Establish the first stack to control with either metallicdramon or volcanicdramon, and then chip away the opponent's security low enough to set them down to 2 or 3. By digicrossing and slamming down Dorbikmon with Flamedramon end of turn DNA, you get to combine both stacks to form into the starter deck Ragnarlordmon to trash the rest of the opponent's security and blitz for game. Here's an example deck list back during the EX3 format. We can see that the build utilizes Guilmon and Gigimon as a base package for more draws and early chip damage, alongside with Fireball, which helps you gather additional cards. But unfortunately, the performance of the deck was just mediocre, as the deck has topped very few times even at a local level. So what are the issues? Why did it not do as well as we liked it to be? First of all, it just relies too much on Hina to get the when digivolving effects, where there are not enough cards in the archetype that can execute this game plan smoothly and set up efficiently during the early stages. This hinders the consistency which the deck really needs in order to guarantee your plays. Being forced to hard play in the early game also gives too much memory to your opponent, where they can set up for better and even answer your Digimon on the board before you can do anything else. Aside from Hina, there is no other memory gaining effects, which limits the amount of plays per turn. The effects of the level 6s are arguably fairly decent, as it can proactively apply field pressure during the mid stages of the game. But the only problem is that you can only use them once, meaning that you have to put all that work again to climb all the way to a stack to get it a second time, which there just isn't enough time in the modern pace of the game. It is fairly easy for your opponents to play around the level 6s and remove it, since it has no protection or comeback potential as well. This is exceptionally problematic because the game plan is to try to get 2 stacks and then go into Ragnarlordmon, which indeed is a very powerful game-winning combo. But if the opponent can consistently get rid of the first stack, it is just way too difficult to achieve the win condition because the deck also lacks speed to quickly rebuild. This contributes towards the inconsistent performance of the deck, meaning there's only one window of opportunity for you to go for the game-winning attack. Otherwise, a single stack of volcanicdramon or metallicdramon just isn't enough to maintain advantages without massive aggression and damage. But what about the new cards from EX7? It is certainly exciting to see a whole new line for both volcanicdramon and metallicdramon. Starting with Varvomon, we got the standard rookie that has the on-play effect, which lets you search for the Digimon within the archetype, and the tamer Hina. Jazzamon gives draw power and memory at the start of your turn. Both of them also give higher DP buffs with inherited effects compared to the older ones. One of the biggest wins with the newer support is that all the level 4s and onwards finally have when digivolving effects, where both Larval Varvomon and Jazzardmon can play Hina for free if you have 1 or fewer tamers, meaning you can potentially set up 2 without expending any additional resources. This is the perfect standard since it actually does better than most other level 4s that play tamers upon digivolving. Both also have on-play effects of their own to help gather additional cards by drawing and picking things back up from the trash. The level 5 Lavogaratomon and Jazarichmon can both gain memory back when digivolving after meeting their requirements. By pairing up with their on-play effects, it makes the memory gain even more constant, which is a very good example of working together with the EX3 Hina as you go up the evolution line. There are also fantastic inherited effects with Security +1 and Redirection, which the archetype never had before. The level 6s are loaded with a ton of effects. Both of them seem to have very similar effects to the older ones, but more amped up. Volcanicdramon can delete the opponent's Digimon and prevent them from playing Digimon with 6000 DP or less for a whole turn. metallicdramon de-digivolves and prevents the opponent's level 4 or lower Digimon from digivolving as well. Both have floating effects which lets you play one or the other of the dragons when it will leave the battle area. With so much value in those cards, it certainly comes with quite a bit of cost as they both require 5 memory to digivolve, which could be a bit of an issue. There's also Garnet Memory Boost, which is a new option card from LM4 designed to specifically support red and black colors, which is very promising. Overall, these cards are very well designed to support the old ones and synergize with the old Hina with the on-play strategies. The archetype is now well put together where you no longer need to run as many outside cards as you used to. But does it make it better? Let's take a look at some lists on Digimon Meta based on the Japanese format. So far, I only found 3 lists that top locals. The first list we got right here seems pretty standard. Every single card is within the archetype, and the Digi-Egg runs the BT14 Koromon. The second list looks fairly similar as well, but it runs the Gurimon egg from BT8 instead, which is also pretty much intended for draw power. This time it included the Hero Memory Setter and Red Memory Boost, which are cards that we have seen used from the older builds even back in EX3. The third list brings part of the older strategy back together. We can see the end of turn DNA Flamedramon with Dorbikmon, and of course the Ragnarlordmon combo to top it all off. It's nice to see that there's slightly different takes on playing this deck, but keep in mind these are just basic statistics so far as the results might differ for the English format since we play best of 3s and in Asia's they play best of 1s, meaning that the deck's potential win rate could be better or worse. But just by looking at these numbers so far, we can see the deck that is still not quite there yet, especially in the competitive scene. So here are some of my personal recommendations that I would like to suggest that can take the deck to the next level. Now I know the community has a bit of a hunch and has predictions that there might be a new Hina Tamer coming along, and I think that would be really nice as well. We could potentially get a 4 or 5 cost Hina Tamer, and of course it can be a very standard memory setter. And now this is the part where we can get a little bit more creative to fill in the missing gaps with its secondary effect. The first thing is possibly in gaining memory back when you hard play any of your dragons. Because like we saw earlier, there is a list that is still running BT8 Hero and Memory Boost, which tells me that the deck is still a little bit behind when it comes to having the memory management, especially knowing the fact that most of the EX7 top end requires you 5 memory to evo, which is quite a lot to pay. Another idea is to allow your dragons to unsuspend once return when a certain condition is met, so that we can take advantage and apply even more control with their when attacking effects multiple times. Otherwise, somehow allowing you to activate the when digivolving effects of the Digimon once more, kinda like how you can stack the on-play effects again and again as long as you have multiple Hinas. It'll also make a lot of sense if there's actually a way to attack right after digivolving if the memory passes over to the opponent's side, which pretty much gives the Digimon Blitz. Aside from just Hina, we can also expect a dedicated option card to help reduce the play cost or digivolution cost specifically for the archetype. Of course, the option card should also be red and black, and it can have removal. Alongside with that, it can also have delay, which lets you play one of your dragons from your hand or trash for free when a specific condition is met, similar to Biting Crush for Leviamon. These are some of my ideas that can be mixed in between with different cards and I think would help cover the pain points of the overall archetype design. What else do you guys think that the Hina Dragons deck needs to further improve it? Let me know in the comments down below. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on that notification bell to stay tuned for newer episodes of this series. As always, thank you so much for watching. You guys have a great day, great night, wherever you are. See you in the next video, and this is AVAULT signing out.